Our second segment on In Your Interest. As the center wants faster control over online content, the question is, what cost does that come at? With more ministries getting these blocking powers, the line between regulation and restriction continuously gets blurred. But we'll break it down for you. For years, if the government wanted to pull a post off your feed or block a website, the order almost always came from one place. That was the IT ministry. It was a centralized system designed to be the single gatekeeper for the internet in our country. But this is about to change, and it's about to change in a very big way. As per a report in the National Daily, the center is planning a major expansion of its social media blocking powers. Under this new proposal, the power to scrub content will no longer be restricted to just one ministry. Instead, key departments like the Home, the Defense, the External Affairs, and the Information and Broadcasting could soon have the direct authority to order takedowns. Even financial regulators like SEBI might get the power to act against online misinformation that threatens the markets. The government says this is necessary. It's a move to keep up with the modern times and the modern era of internet. And with the rise of artificial intelligence and AI deepfakes and the lightning fast spread of viral hoaxes, they argue that the current system is in fact a bottleneck, and hence the amendments. By decentralizing this power, the government aims to react in real time to threats against national security or public order. Platforms could start receiving more orders from different agencies, and non-compliance might lead up to 7 years in jail with heavy fines. This builds on the recent rules that already cut takedown times to just 2 to 3 hours in many cases from the earlier 24 to 36 hours. And under the current system, Section 69A of the IT Act allows the government to block online content for reasons like national security or public disorder. Decisions need written justification, and the process follows the IT blocking rules from 2009. Right now, IT Ministry is the main authority that issues these orders. There is also the Sahyog portal run by the Home Ministry, which lets multiple agencies flag content for removal. And critics, they're concerned that spreading this power across various ministries could lead to more misuse and overblocking. That's another thing. They point out that past actions have often hit dissent or political speeches, even when it is not clearly illegal. With stricter and faster rules, platforms and users might start self-censoring to avoid trouble. And there are also worries about less transparency and limited checks on these decisions. Overall, many fear this could mean tighter control over what people say online. The big questions on the show. Does the focus on AI deepfakes justify expanding these powers, or does it risk harming free expression? Will giving more ministries blocking powers make online censorship faster and broader? Bhanu Chandra Nagarajan, former consultant, World Bank and public policy expert, with us on the broadcast, and Vaibhav Malu, digital economy expert and managing director at the Enzo Group. Bhanu, let me get this snowball rolling with you. First up, the idea is clearly faster response and faster takedown, more control over online content, and that's great. In the age with the advent of artificial intelligence and the deepfakes and the trouble that they can brew, it's great. But does decentralizing at this level and at this scale, the blocking powers, does it risk inconsistent decisions? We're talking about the blurring of regulation and restriction, the fine line that they operate on either side.
Let's talk first principles for a bit, Kabir. One is how much of liberty to seek to the government is something philosophers have thought about for ages, right? Like, we have Hobbes' Leviathan, Locke, and all of these people said that, like, how it be war against war of all against all if there is no centralizing government, right? And even our constitution guarantees freedom of expression with reasonable restrictions. So there is no argument on the first principles. Okay? Even when it comes to misinformation, there is no argument. There is no argument at all, right? No, misinformation also has been there for all through history. Abraham Lincoln worried that there were graffiti written on the walls of Washington D.C. against him, which are all falsehood. So what I'm trying to say is, in first principles, everybody agrees. These are philosophies, but when it comes to the rough and tumble of policy, like where we have to deal with real life, these sort of divisions, these sort of decisions have to be taken, and there has to be some amount of give and take, and that is exactly where we are at right now. And coming to this particular policy,
Yeah.
the IT ministry already was doing it. Now it is like given to many other ministries, and that is the simple change. Obviously, there might be inconsistencies, so on and so forth. But everybody has to understand that this is all required for the cognitive security. And even like if you go to villages, people ask, like, now with all the WhatsApp that is actually being used everywhere, people ask, is this true? Touch it, yeah, or Bewakoof bana rahe hain, something like that. So I think even society is ready.
Yeah, no,
for
right
this
on,
sort of
Bhanu. But with more agencies and more ministries powered, you rightly pointed out, there is going to be some sort of misuse. How will the government now ensure that there are safeguards against misuse or overreach? That has to remain intact as well.
Absolutely, that is again falls upon people like us, like media, the courts, and the legal system, and they have to be empowered as well, right? So the thing is, if the government does some, even when the government does this, they can use AI to make sure that there is a fair system. For a grievance redressal, the judiciary can use a system. But what I'm trying to say is, like, there should be an all of society approach. The tech company should actually come into play. Parents should make sure that, like, youngsters are not, accessing avoidable content and so on and so forth. So I think we are in a society where the velocity of information has, like, changed quite a bit because of social media and now through AI. So I think we are living in a different world, and new problems warrant new solutions, right? So that's where we are.
Okay. Let's bring in Mr. Malu. Mr. Malu, what's your take on this? Do you see this move as necessary in terms of a regulation, of course, given the fact that we're in the age of AI, or is this a step towards over-censorship? Because we all know the kind of problems deepfakes can actually create. All these actors and celebrities, they're fighting long on cases because of this.
Right. So the path Indian government has taken to regularize social media content and streaming content, overall content censorship, and decentralizing it to give more powers to other authorities to take action for removal of content within 3 hours of stipulated period of time is actually very, very, very good, because it regulates the content that AI can otherwise distort, firstly. What is very, very, very noteworthy is the nudity and the pornography that often springs up on phones of young children who are on social media currently. The current regulation to restrict social media for 16 and below is very welcome in my view. And also misinformation, propaganda-based, simple, utter wrong information, which is hurtful sometimes. It can be defamating. So I think it's very important to have these regulations in place, and they are in place in all countries which have advanced cyber laws, such as EU, such as North American countries of Canada and USA, such as Australia. China is, on the other hand, very, very, very anti-free speech, and that is not what this means for us. What it means for us is that content will be regulated and be less cumbersome to get rid of content.
But then critics say, Mr. Malu, that you would have content which is not necessarily illegal, but it is critical of let's say the current dispensation, and that's going to be removed as well. Plus, nobody wants to go to jail for 7 years. Nobody wants to pay those hefty fines. So if you have a compliance time period of 2 to 3 hours, is there a chance that there is going to be over removal of content because everybody wants to be on the right side of the law?
Right. So in this case, there'll be obviously the judicial doors that are open for people who are not happy with the initial orders of the regulatory authorities. But those have to be made less cumbersome and less time-taking. I agree with you there that there has to be a leeway, or there has to be a door to knock on for people who want to say that this is this is my view and this is not supposed to be censored, but it is. So what do I do? So I want to go to the court, but the court has to take less time, and there has to be a fast-tracking process for such content, especially during election times.
You're right. Bhanu, this is going to be a very tough job for, of course, the authorities, and in certain urgent cases, the entire flagging might not even go to the review committee. It can just simply be taken down, and then the review is going to happen and taken care of later. But this line between dissent and disruption, users are saying that satire or criticism is going to be flagged, and they're worried that there's going to be no place or safe space, like the China example that Mr. Malu gave us.
Oh, absolutely. See, any censorship has a seed of totalitarianism in this, okay? But
Yeah.
this is principles, okay? But in theory, like, we have to make sure that censorship doesn't go overboard, okay?
Yeah.
For example, let's take the example of SEBI coming into the picture. We are living in the era of high frequency trading, and there is so much of disinformation by now, and all of that information circulating, right? And a lot of people who are gullible actually are taken advantage of because of
Yep.
this,
Yep.
right? And it is so the IT ministry cannot actually regulate this, and it is up to the SEBI to who's closer to the game to actually regulate this. So I think we have to see that in this perspective, and see standard operating procedures will evolve over time, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so also some posts could be taken down, and if they are found to be all right, they can be reinstated. So I think we'll come at a optimal conclusion sooner than later.
See, expanding Section 69A would, of course, require transparency. You pointed out that this is going to be a work in process. I think the question is, can speed of taking this down? So, can speed or due process, can they realistically coexist in this particular setup?
No, it's a very, very, very deep question, Kabir. See, but the thing is, if nobody is going to go to jail immediately, right? There's going to be a due process. That is going to take a lot of time.
Well, we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. I mean, to be really honest here.
No. The thing is, it has to go to courts, okay? And courts will adjudicate. They can't be done in 2-3 hours, right? So what I'm trying to say is the adjudication process will be longer. But the compliance, the speed of compliance is something that's very different than what we are talking about. So let's see. And also, I think the use of technology, and again coming to this, AI will be used both by the government to screen the volume of these sort of fake news or alleged fake news. And the judiciary could also apply this, and they should also actually say that the government is wrong in actually punishing certain people for say posting satire or something like that.
So, Mr. Malu, when we're talking about the possible end rather of the decentralized, web and the internet, what's going to be the chilling effect here? Influencers and content creators, are they going to start over censoring themselves? Is that going to be one fallout of this, or rather not fallout? Let's say impact of this.
See, I look at the broader picture. I think anything that is worth censoring, which is abusive, which is vulgar, has its place in certain areas of online content, which is restricted to 18 and below. But open viewership and viewership on your face that you can't avoid of certain kind of content can be restricted. It should be restricted. Artistic freedom is obviously artistic freedom, and no one comes in the way of that. People do drugs in movies. No one says anything. But that doesn't mean that it's legal, and that doesn't mean that I want to see it. That it doesn't mean that I want others to see it. It should be with a warning, statutory warning, that it belongs in OTT, it belongs in theaters, and remainder is for the adjudicating officers and the authorities and the regulatory authorities to decide. I believe a joint secretary and above in government and IG, DIG and above in police that can now with the amended 69A Act. Am I right? 69A?
69A, yeah, you're right.
The Act can now decide to tell the intermediary authorities, the intermediary sites, to take down content.
Okay, just being the devil's advocate here, what was the problem with the existing setup? You had Section 69A. All of these queries and flagging of content would go to the IT ministry. IT ministry has a review panel. They review it and then they take it down. In any case, the compliance hour timeline from 24 to 36 hours was already cut down to 2 to 3 hours. So then, was there a clear-cut need for decentralizing? Of course, you need social media laws to take care of what the youngsters are really consuming online. But flagging of this content and the redressal mechanism or the mechanism of taking down this content and fast, we already had that. So was there a clear-cut need?
I think, frankly speaking, that the content, the load of content that is deregulated in India and that is is filling Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, to name a few sites, is too much, and there is so much misinformation that verified accounts, and now anybody can verify the accounts, can give out, that there's confusion, chaos. And especially I noticed during the times of COVID, there was so much misinformation that there was no regulation telling people the right thing sometimes. And such content and wrong stock market tips, or
Yeah. Yeah.
panic news, misinformation needs to be regulated, and the control has to be there. It doesn't have to be exercised all the time. It has to be exercised in dire circumstances only. But the control has to be with the state governments at some level, at the local level.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
on a lighter note, I'm glad that I wouldn't get so many of those financial influencers back to back on my Instagram feed or on my social media feed telling me about tips and techniques, because now SEBI will also have the agency to do this. But Banu, just to wrap this entire discussion up, it's been a riveting conversation. It's great that we have something like this that's coming up, the expansion of Section 69A and how this has been decentralized, because like the Home Ministry already has the Sahyog portal, you now have the Section 69A, which is also going to be equally decentralized. So they're going to run on two parallels. And why not have those two parallels? Whether we have those guardrails, safeguards to ensure that there is due transparency when speed and due process are, having to coexist, that's another question. But after Australia pulled out that ban for social media applications for kids under the age of 16. United Kingdom very soon followed suit. There are some laws that are similarly being taken up by other European nations, Norway, Denmark. So we are taking the right step in the right direction. Wouldn't you say so, Bhanu?
Oh yes, we are still not discussing, the restriction of social media to kids, which I think is like high time we do that. But so coming to the point that you mentioned, like the chilling effect point is like something that we should all be like really watching very closely, right? And the second thing is the decentralization may also be because of the reduction in the time from 36 hours to 3 hours, because you have so much volume and you need expertise. For example, the recent LPG issue, right? Like it has become a foreign policy issue. It has become a national security issue, right? And to redirect it through the IT ministry is is a bit cumbersome.
That's a great example.
That's a great example. Yeah. And we are not talking, the other thing is we are not.
But then again, you need manpower for that as well, Bhanu. I mean, when you're talking about such a huge volume of content that's coming in, you need the exact amount of eyeballs to take care of that. And then who decides on who is going to be looking at, authorized to regulate this kind of content? So again, it's still early doors. They're still mulling this amendment. It's not come in yet. But clearly, needless to say, it is the need of the hour in the age of artificial intelligence and deepfakes. We do need to talk about this. And of course, our youngsters and the kind of content they're consuming, just like Mr. Malu said, is also on the line. Many thanks, gentlemen, for taking out the time. Bhanu, always a pleasure to have you with us on News9. And Mr. Malu, many thanks for taking out the time. In this race to control, of course, it's all good and great on paper. It is a welcome step. But this race to control misinformation, there is a risk of silencing more than just the noise, because there is a lot of noise on social media as well with artificial intelligence and deepfakes and whatnot. And the real test of regulation is how it is going to treat criticism, not how it treats compliance. With that, it's the end of this segment of In Your Interest. We're going to see you again tomorrow. Many thanks for watching.
झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कर आता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
Co-powered by Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles, Better Always. Sustainability partner Jackson, powering a sustainable future. GCC partner, enabling you to shape a better tomorrow. Education partner, KL deemed to be university. State partner, Simply Heaven, Dev Bhumi, Land of the Gods, Uttarakhand Government. Associate sponsor, Kotak Mahindra Bank, GOBP, fuel with active technology. Bheem, Bharat ka apna payments app. Gold partner,
पैनासोनिक एसी इंडिया का नया कैप्टन कूल।
स्पेशल पार्टनर MG Vencer, इंडियाज #1 EV। क्विक हील, डिजिटल भारत का भरोसा, फ्रॉड से सुरक्षा।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
A major update in the controversy revolving around Nora Fatehi's song Sar Ke Chunar. The Central Board of Film Certification, or CBFC, has clarified that it has not received any application for certification of the song Sar Ke Chunar from the film KD the Devil. The board also noted that content on digital platforms is not certified by CBFC, and all queries regarding the song should be directed to the platform and the makers. The CBFC said it is a responsible body that takes the portrayal of women in cinema seriously and aims to shift controversies into constructive dialogue. Earlier, Nora Fatehi broke her silence on the controversy in a video message on Instagram. She said she had no knowledge of the Hindi version and never gave permission for her image to be associated with the song. She added that she does not endorse the track and urged people to stop sharing it. She also called out personal attacks, describing them as unfortunate, and said her team will be more careful in the future.
Whatever they've done right now, which is creating a Hindi version and dubbing the voice in Hindi and having those lyrics, which are very inappropriate, I had no idea about that. They didn't take any approvals. They didn't take any permission from me. When I was invited for the launch at the event, I sat there and I saw the Kannada version, which first of all, I had a major issue with because they didn't take any approvals